Okay, it is now 5:30, so we are going to go ahead and get our meeting started. And I would like to first welcome everyone to our monthly board meeting. At this time, if everyone would please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. If everyone at this time would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Board members, at this time we are down to approving our agenda. Are there any additions to our agenda tonight? If not, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Bowers.
Second.
Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And we'll move down now to recognitions with Ms. Embry, our favorite part.
Good evening, board members, and all of you guests. There are several outstanding students to recognize this evening. They have been selected and successfully completed or competed in several distinguished programs over this past summer. I want to begin with the Governor's Scholars Program. As you know, the Governor's Scholar Program is a summer residential program for outstanding high school students in Kentucky. Muhlenberg County is fortunate this past year to have had 7 students who once again participated in this rewarding program. So students, as I call your name, I'm going to ask that you come forward to receive a certificate and allow me to take your picture. No speeches. They were wanting to do speeches, I don't know. So the first one I have tonight is Carson Grundy. Carson is the daughter of Jeff and Shannon Grundy of Greenville, and she attended GSP at Morehead State University. Congratulations. We do have a few of them who have games or practices that couldn't be with us. This next gentleman is Nate Harper. Nate is the son of Josh and Jenny Harper of Dunmore, and he attended GSP at Center College. The next one is Elizabeth Kidd. Elizabeth is the daughter of Jason and Annalie Kidd of Greenville, and she attended GSP at Morehead State University. Next, he is not here with us either. That's Hudson Morgan. He's the son of Dustin and Tiffany Morgan of Beechmont, and he attended GSP at Murray State University. Then we have Madison Pate. Maddie's the daughter of Daniel and Kendra Pate of Central City, and she attended GSP at Center College. Thank you.
She's on mission.
Had to get all of Maddie's legs in. Next we have Haley Penley. Haley is the daughter of Jonathan and Julie Penley of Greenville, Central City, her address. She attended GSP at Morehead State University. Madison Woodall is the daughter of Mark and Kim Woodall of Greenville, and she attended GSP at Murray State University. All right, that's all of our GSP students. Now next we had 3 students who participated in the Governor's School for the Arts. That is a 3 solid weeks at the University of Kentucky. These students discovered the power of their art and their place as an artist. So first I have Isaiah Ball. Isaiah is the son of Jason and Nika Ball of Greenville. Next, she was not able to be here, I don't think. Rebecca Scott. No. Rebecca, she's in the play, the Addams Family play, so she's at practice. She's the daughter of Matthew and Dina Scott of Greenville. And then we have Willow Strader. Willow is the daughter of Joy and Laura Strader of Bremen. Willow is our field commander this year, and Troy graciously gave her permission to skip out just long enough to come and receive her award. All right, so we are proud of these students for their accomplishment and for the parents who endured this time this summer to get you ready for when they actually move off less than a year from now. Now, the next 2 students that I'm going to recognize this evening competed at the Kentucky State Fair last month in the 4-H Country Ham Competition with a total of 971 ham speeches. That's a lot of listening about hams. These 2 entered their hams for competition and delivered a speech on the process. And kudos to Mr. Charlie Gatton for all that he did in preparing them for this. So the first one I want to honor is Mr. Trace Harper. He's no stranger to the board. He's received several awards before. He placed 3rd with his speech in his age division. Trace is the son of Travis and Crystal Harper of Belton.
He was in my aviation club.
And then we have Mr. Jude Gardner. Jude placed 1st with his speech and 3rd overall for speech and ham in his age division. He is the son of Brad and Emily Gardner of Greenville. All right. Congratulations to both of you as leaders. And then finally, we have 2 more students who are a part of our culinary class with Miss Medford, who competed at the State Fair also last month in a cooking competition. They placed 2nd after putting together the dish that's before you that they've prepared for you this evening. I'm sorry for all of you who have smelled the scrumptious bacon and do not get to taste that. And that is, I'm sorry, we have Zella Avery. She's a senior at Muhlenberg County High School. She's the daughter of Larry Avery and Jackie Avery, and Mr. Jaden Legs. He is a sophomore at the high school and the son of Keith and Connie Legs. That would be great. Perfect. 1, 2, 3. Great. Congratulations. And kudos to Miss Ashley for all the work that she does in doing the culinary. That's all I have. Thank you. So all of you, basically, are free to leave, right? I would like to have some group photos out front. So all of you students, if you don't mind, to meet me in the lobby. I want to take a few more pictures, okay? Thank you.
Thank you all. Congratulations, Willow. Bye, Mark. Close those blinds. chaperone for that back row.
Yeah, we get a front seat.
Mr. Rager needs to be up front. He's a troublemaker.
Yes, he is.
Front seat. Front.
Nobody wants the front row.
Yeah, can you make them? You front row.
So he just asked if she could make you move.
Let's
Like,
go.
nobody wants the front row. What is that? Hey, Scott Blake, guess what?
Oh, man.
For me, it's not the front row.
There's a quiz when we're done, too.
Yeah. We planned this for you.
All right, we'll move down now to our treasurer's report with Mr. Blitzinger.
Chairman Rager. Tonight I bring you the financials as of August 31st, 2023. We'll begin with the revenues. The beginning balance of $37.6 million. This is down by $2.03 million. The monthly receipts were at $3.6, which are down $205,000 from last month and down $1.2 million from the same period last year. Seat remains unchanged. Significant is federal is up $653,000 as we were able to submit for the FCR. This month, the state is up $358,000, taxes are down $150,000, other is down $389,000, food services up $21,000 for $41.2. Expenditures, accounts payable were $1.529 million this month. It's down approximately $1 million when compared to the same period last year, mainly construction. The significant bills in August were Concept Light and Sound for $24,592. Payroll is up $1,854 versus August of '22 at $2.83 million. For a total expense of $4.36 million for the month of August. Accounts payable breakdown for all the funds. Fixed and mixed expenses were about $888,000. Variable expenses of about $524,000. Utilities of $118,000. And those are staying pretty much pretty flat. Accounts payable, total again, $1.59 million. General fund is about $599 million. Fund 2 and school activity funds about $148,000. Construction was about $11,000. Debt service $762,000. We did pay off one of our bonds last month. Food service and daycare is about $9,000 in trust and agency, which are scholarship funds that are distributed. Was $1,000. Ledger balance $36.857. The bank balance is $26.76. Outstanding checks about $956,000 for a cash flow of $25.8. Further breakdown, general fund is down about $770,000. Special revenue, which is Fund 2, is up about $902,000. Again, that's from the federal cash request submission. Construction is down about $11,000. Debt service is down that payment of $762,000. Food service, about $104,000. Daycare is up a little over $4,000. Trust and agency is down $1,000. The overall is down about $743,000. Extended financial picture in January of 2024. We expect to have $34.38 million in the bank in January. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions regarding the treasurer's report at this time? If not, I'll need a motion to approve. I have a motion by Mr. Johar. Second by Ms. Bard. All in favor of approving the treasurer's report, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. We'll move down now to payment of bills and salaries.
September board bills, $210,443.19. Of that, about $42,000 utilities, fixed and mixed expense about $85,000, and variable expense $84,000. The significant check on this one also was Concept Light and Sound for $24,000.
I need a motion to approve payments of bills and salaries.
Make a motion.
I have a motion by Ms. Ford, second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of approving payment of bills and salaries, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Move down now to public participation. None? Okay. All right, so we'll move down now to our administrative report, to the superintendent report, Ms. Ford.
Sure, we have a couple who are going to come and share with us some things that are going on. So we'll start with Ms. Green with Muhlenberg Achieves.
Some folders to hand out to each of you. Hi. You want to hand these up? Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to come in tonight and talk to you. The blue folders that I just handed out to you all, these are the folders that Muhlenberg Achieves presents to our incoming seniors on our Ready for 12th grade. So I'm going to take that and I'm just going to kind of spin off of that and tell you a little bit about our program and who I am and what we do, but I wanted to give you that as a visual while I'm going through. So Muhlenberg Achieves is a derivative of the Felix Martin Foundation, and our program began in 2015, and it was developed in a partnership with the school board as a way to kind of fill in the gaps where the students who are graduating high school and transitioning to life after high school graduation, there were some issues with things that weren't being successfully completed. School has changed dramatically over the last several years. And so when Muhlenberg Achieves first began, it was literally college preparation, college readiness. It was based loosely on the Tennessee Achieves program, if you all have ever heard of that. And over the years, it has changed along with incoming students and the way society has changed as well. And so this year's class, when we handed out this folder, as you take a moment to look through, and I don't expect you all to look through all of it right now, you'll find there's information in here, high school specific, like bell schedules and the letter from the Frisks. And then you'll find things like ways to stay connected, college tour info. So we give these out at this event. This is our kickoff event each year. And this year, we had 104, let me make sure I say this correctly, because I'm really excited about it. This year we had 103 seniors attend, which was 45% of our senior class. Last year we had 80 seniors attend, which was only 31% of the class. So I feel like as we continue to go, this will continue to grow. And in this folder, we hand out, you'll see a sheet in there that has college tour information, and it has QR codes. So at that event, the parents with their kids, they can scan that QR code with their phone and sign up on the spot for a college tour. And there's a thing where they can get information about the colleges and universities. And then we also cover, we have a couple of big things. One is what's getting ready to happen, and I'm so excited to be able to share this with you guys. So October is Muhlenberg Goes to College Month, and it began in 2015, so this is our 8th year of being able to present that. Did I do my math correctly? So the 7th year? This event is kicked off with a proclamation signing by the Judge Executive, and the month-long period of October, we focus on post-secondary success in the manner of yesterday we toured Murray State University. Tuesday, we're taking a group of seniors to the Workforce Solutions Program in Madisonville, and they will learn about the lineman program, CDL certification, and diesel mechanics. And then we will tour Western. We try to, at this point, we try to offer a variety of college and career certification. In my mind, I always say this is the hill that I will die on. So in my mind, every student, this is my ultimate goal. Every student, when they graduate high school, should have a plan of action. Whether it is continuing their education, it's enlistment in the military, it is going to work in the workforce, or if they're taking an exploration year, which some of them tell me, they just need time off, they need a break. And I say, well, that's fine. But in 6 weeks, I'm going to check up. And in 6 weeks, I want to know what progress you've made towards getting a job or enrolling in college or enrolling in the military. To me, it is my personal goal to make sure that I meet with as many of the kids as I can and make sure that I do what I can to help them make those decisions. We have a lot of kids who don't necessarily have the support at home to encourage them to go beyond a high school diploma. Some of them struggle to get that high school diploma. And so I want to make sure that we're offering the programs. All of our programs are completely free of charge. We provide the bus, we provide food for the event, we help the students with their applications. The Workforce Solutions Tour tomorrow, they will be able to actually sign up. It's really cool. We'll take juniors. There's a 2-year waiting list for the lineman program. So we take high school juniors, they sign up now, and in 2 years when they graduate high school, they're eligible to enter straight into that lineman program instead of waiting for the 2-year waiting period to end. So as we've gone through, this is my 3rd year, and I feel like every year I learn something new and I revamp it a little bit more. And I'm always open. Inside those folders, you will find my business card. I'm always open to conversation about what we can do better, what we can do differently. If you hear something and you think, oh, this would be a great idea, I'm always open to that. The other thing quickly is we have expanded our program down into the middle grades. We all know that the earlier you start to talk to these kids about their life choices, the better chance you have of success. So in our middle grades, we have a program that we have started called Ignite, and we currently have 26th graders and 27th graders, 10 from each of the middle schools. And Ms. Terry Oakley is our new Ignite program director. We had our first meeting today. The students went to the MCC Muhlenberg campus. They toured the campus, talked to Dr. Hernandez-Stevenson, came over here to the board, toured the board office, and spoke with Mr. Lyle, Ms. Embry, Ms. Orr, and they learned about education and what it looks like if you wanted to be a teacher. But if you want to do something other than being a teacher, we want them to see if you want to work in a restaurant, you don't necessarily have to be a server. You can be a chef. You can own a restaurant. You know, if you want to be a teacher, great, but you could also be a guidance counselor or a principal or a superintendent. So that's kind of where we are with our middle school kids. I say I have the best job in the world. I love my job, but like I said, I'm open anytime anyone wants to call or email or whatever. We would love to sit down and talk. Thank you all.
Ms. Lee, can you talk about this a little bit?
Do you want me to talk about, that's like the Frisk letter.
Okay.
That's from the Friskies at the high school.
Okay, it's nothing you do.
Not me,
okay.
No sir.
Okay, it wasn't in your package then.
I won't speak on their behalf.
Making sure that they know that information up front. They have it.
I was just making sure it wasn't from.
I'll keep him straight.
And thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so next, the younger version of the things that are provided, we have Ms. Vicki Yonts, who's going to share about SOAR.
Y'all better eat them donuts. Susie's going to have trouble. All right, so I'm Vicki Yonitz, and I have been with SOAR. Well, actually, we created SOAR a long time ago, 12 years ago, I think, 11, 12 years ago. And can you start with, do I have it? Anyway, SOAR stands for Strategies, Opportunities, and Advantages. And that's exactly what we want to do, is offer our early childhood. The Felix Martin Foundation did meet when they first got the money, and everybody just said, what are we going to do, what are we going to do? And early childhood kept coming up. And so that's when they decided that, hey, we'll go with that. So, okay, how do I put this? Am I like... Oh, okay. I'm sorry. There we go. Okay, so giving out books is one of the things that we do, distributing books in Warrenburg County. Why do we do this? Because we know the more books in a home, the smarter the child's going to be if they're reading. A few years back, we interviewed valedictorians, and it never failed. Every single one of them said books was a big part of their family, that their family read to them. And they were read to constantly. So we know that's a really big deal. So Imagination Library this year, we gave away 9,577 books. But since inception, since we started SOAR, we have given away 190,344 books. A lot of those books are coming back to us now. We have a book deposit outside, and people bring them back, and they put them in the little libraries around the county, because we have those out in part of the county where kids can't get to the library, maybe in Central City and Greenville. So there's all kinds of different ways that we give away books, and this is the number of books. But just this year, we've given away 22,869 as of now. We do work with Head Start. We do work with Early Head Start. We work with Hands, First Steps. We also, our signature event, of course, is Kindergarten Camp, and that is something that we love. And I'm not going to let Holly talk. I'm just going to keep her going here. Oh, I did it. Anyway, okay. Okay. This was camp, and it was really cool. We had, Chad, what have I done now? Am I going to have to let her talk? Boy, I need to be doing a program, don't I? Clicker. Well, this was a video, and so that's probably why. But anyway, our teachers did a great job. We do it at all 5 elementary schools, and I just have to say right now, kudos to the elementary teachers, elementary principals, because they make my life a lot easier, and they really do get early childhood education, and that's wonderful, you all, because if you have a principal that doesn't get it, it just tears things all up. So I'm so proud of our principals and Miss Jones for working. Of course, you know, she came right out of that elementary school, so that was a plus. We graduated 34. We did it 34 at Bremen. And let's see here, Central City, 29. Am I going the wrong way? Yep. And Greenville, 52. Longest had 32. And South graduated 40 kindergartners this year. So these kids came into kindergarten knowing. So we had 59% of our kids out of our kindergarten class attended camp. We did a pre-test, a post-test, and we try to keep up with what our kids are learning. Here's the cool thing, you all. We've been doing this so long, some of our kids that started our programs, they're in high school now. So we can go back and look at this data, thanks to the Board of Education and working well together. We are able to pull these names and look to see how these kids are doing. And so we're real excited about that, and we're going to actually put a lot into that. But just real quickly, let me show you the children that did participate in both getting ready for kindergarten and camp. They scored 63.9% ready for kindergarten. And so I think that shows you that it just ready was 57 and just camp was 59. So we do know it makes a difference, and that's what we're really excited about. We have signature events like Books and Cream, where we have a summer reading program that goes along all summer long. We do all kinds of things. As I was saying, this little girl, Claire, she started when she was 8 months old. She came back this year, she's 11. So our kids are, you know, they're being with us. Community events, we do K-Days at our schools. We do a community-wide baby shower because, as Lisa said, we want to get them as early as we can. We had 64 mothers who came, brand new babies. We actually had a PD this year with Mr. Gregg, and we are going to be able to go to send some teachers to Elevate in Nashville, which I'm very excited about, to hear Mr. Gregg talk about Elevate, because it's a great program. And so that's real exciting. We work with daycares and preschools. We work actually with just about anybody that has anything to do with children. Our barbers give away books when they cut a child's hair. Our bus drivers, we have a program called Ride and Reward. I don't even know if you know about it or not. But if the kids are good all week, then on Friday they get a free book. We take books out to the bus garage, and actually sometimes they don't have room for all the books, and so, but the bus drivers just come in and get them, So just getting books into the home, but it's more than just books. It's also putting behind that the fact that why we do this is we want our kids to read. And then school readiness, of course, is our other one. We have all kinds of different, we have 25 programs right now in SOAR. We've had up to 30. We're down to 25 right now. And the great thing about that is because the community has come on board and they've taken some of our programs and now they're doing them. And so that's wonderful. We partner with Save the Children and the Governor's Office of Early Childhood. And we also partner with about 80 different organizations in Muhlenberg County. So anybody that has anything to do with anything with children, we just pretty much work with them. What's coming up next is our Super Saturdays. This is for 3-year-olds. We'll be doing this at Longest Elementary, thanks to Hayes, Mr. Brown, I'm sorry. And we'll be there doing Super Saturdays with 3-year-olds, and it's a blast, and they get to take home some of the neatest stuff. I worked for a grant for 10 years. It was a federal grant. It was called the Kentucky Delta Rural Project. And guys, we had to beg, steal, and borrow. There was very little money. So it's so exciting to be able to do things now that we do have the funding behind us, thanks to the organizations that I mentioned, especially Felix Martin, but also Save the Children and the Governor's Office. And through Head Start, we do a lot of programs and using that money to get kids that are not in school yet. And we reach about 75%. That's about my number. I don't know where this other 25% of kids are. I've searched high and low. I don't know. They just don't come out, or they come out at night. I don't know. But I can't find them. So anyway, but there are, that's good. That 75% is really good. But my goal is 100%. I'd love to see all of our numbers go up. I'd love to see us reach all the children and the families. I do believe it makes a difference what we're doing. I think there has been a culture change. I think that people believe now it's important to read to your child. I've had people come up with newborns say, hey, we're reading 15 minutes every day. And I'm like, that's awesome. So I do believe in change. And I think the change that we are making, and not me, because it's more than a village, guys. It's the whole doggone county. And it's everybody working together. And the change that we're making, I think we're going to be able to see, and we are already seeing some of that change, but I think we're just going to see more and more of it as parents get involved, because honestly, a 5-year-old, you tell them to eat healthy, well, they don't buy the apples, they don't buy the candy bars, the parents does. It's the same thing with education. We have to get to the parent first. So that's what we do, is working with our parents, trying to form relationships, and I think that's what happens even in the schools, is they come before they kindergarten and they meet the principals. I've got pictures of Mr. Blake, I've got pictures of Mr. Wells. They're out there doing all kinds of stuff with these kids that they don't even know yet. They're not even their students, but they're forming relationships, and that's what it's about. So early childhood education has a lot of different things in it. I mean, there's so many components, you all, and I scared Contessa to death because I sent her like 80 slides, and I swear I'm not going to talk about all of them, but I probably could, but I won't. But we do know that children are 25% of our population, but 100% of our future, and that's why we got to work so hard. We can't stop what we're doing. We got to even do more. We got to do it together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, just to say, Vicki was worried about using the clicker, and I said, I don't know if I even said my name. I was so nervous when I got up there. So, sorry, I'm Lisa Green, in case I didn't say that. So sorry.
You did a great job. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you all.
That's awesome.
So the only other thing that I have is in your binder on the far side is my professional growth plan. I've provided a copy for each of you all. And this year I've chosen to focus on the managerial aspect, the budgeting, the staffing, getting feedback, and those kinds of things. So I just wanted to go ahead and share that with you and know that I will begin working on that at this time.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. All right. So we will, Well, the personnel actions have been given to us and the report will be placed into our minutes. And then I'll move down now to the attendance and enrollment report.
Mr. Watkins is at the DPP conference this week, so he is not here, but the enrollment information is in your binder. And then I think you also have an additional copy. This was the high attendance day, and the results from high attendance day in the elementary category, longest had 97.79%. Way to go, longest. Middle school, North Middle had 95.8. Way to go, North Middle. And then, of course, the high school, they were at 94.6.
Awesome.
Wow.
Good deal.
They're all doing a great job of working to get our kids here.
All right, good deal. Okay, we'll move down now to our board action items. And item A is to consider posting an Assistant Director of Systems and Development and User Support position. Mr. Lau.
Thank you very much. So tonight we do bring for you to consider posting of an Assistant Director of Systems and Development and User Support position. This would be in our technology department. You have in your binder some information about that job and what that entails, but I do recommend that the Middlebury County Board consider approving this position.
Any questions? Everybody's had a chance to review this in their packet. No. I have a motion by Mr. Johar.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of considering posting the Assistant Director of Systems and Development and User Support, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item B is to approve amended fiscal year 24 salary schedule. Mr. Blitzinger.
Thank you, Chair Rager. The computer maintenance technician job has been replaced by the Assistant Director of Systems Development, so the corresponding salary, monthly salary schedule is adjusted, and you have that information.
I make a motion to approve. Second by Ms. Bard. All in favor of approving the amended fiscal year 24 salary schedule, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And we'll move down to item C, and this is to approve change order 012 for the cafeteria expansion at Muhlenberg County High School.
This was to supply and install one piece of ADA bar grading per the building inspector's request. It was at a cost of $2,965.
Where was the building inspector all this time?
They come periodically, and I guess they found something.
Okay,
012 meaning 12.
I'll make a motion.
Agreed.
Motion by
Gotta get it done.
Mr. Johar. Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of approving the change order 012 for the high school cafeteria, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hear none. And we'll move down now to item D, and that is to consider the 23-24 working budget.
Chairman Rager. This is the fiscal year 24 working budget. So as you recall, there are 3 phases of the budget process. The first is the draft budget, which is the framework in which the budget is created. That's mainly the general fund. The next budget iteration is the tentative budget, which pulls in Fund 2 and the other federal and state grant dollars that we receive. And then now this is the working budget. So in review, again, we have our budget considerations that we always want to think about while we're creating our budget, such as future revenues, future expenses, what is the market around us going to do to create revenue increases, drops, or anything to that effect. So with that, there's the revenues review, and then we'll review the expenses. So in terms of revenue, there was an increase of of Sept by 1.2 million from the tentative budget, because they originally had us dropping about 1.2 million. And then since we are one of the tornado affected areas, we actually are back up to where we sort of were in that area, about 1.2 million. So again, I credit Mr. Watkins for kind of digging in a little bit, different areas that we didn't know about previously, and so we did get some more information on that. Local revenue has increased by about 800,000. This is due to trend data, so I've looked at like the past 3 years budget to actuals, and so we've increased those about 200,000 in property, 200,000 in vehicle, and then 200,000 in franchise. The one that does fluctuate wildly is our franchise tax, but the 200,000 is the average of all those. So 1 year it could be 1.5 million, a couple years ago it was 1.9, it was 1.7. It's all over the place. So we tried to take an average of those and see what we could do. We also increased food service balance by that 2.6 million, which is what they've had carrying over. We do intend on using those funds, as the state would like us to help kind of re-equip some of the kitchens, get some new equipment where we can, and spend that wisely in those areas. Revenue decreases. We did decrease the beginning balance by about $276,000. That's from audit adjustments. So total revenues, including beginning balance, about 87.5. General fund is at 70, which, bear in mind, again, that has beginning balance, and it also has on behalfs, which are non-cash items, so that artificially inflates that number significantly. Construction fund is at 0. What happens is we transfer funds from the general fund into construction fund, so there's going to be funds that continually are pulled out of general fund to bring that back down to the numbers that we're used to. Food service at about 6.6, and that includes their beginning balance as well as all their operating revenues, and the funds that they receive from the lunchrooms. Community education is at 0. Building fund is at 1.756. Those funds go towards our bond payments. Capital outlay is at 421,000, which also goes towards bond payments. Fund 2 is at 7.85 million, roughly. That is down, because we don't have all the ESSER funds previously. So what we tried to do, again, was take a lot of those ESSER funds, use them for things that would offset that general fund to help us prepare for things that are going to be occurring in the future, like decreasing enrollment. So we're that 1.2 million that we got back this year from SEEK funding, we fully expect that to go back down next year. TVA funding, now that they've torn down the 2 cooling towers, I expect that to go down this year once they tear down the buildings for the boilers and those sorts of things. I expect to go down even significantly more. So that's about 4.4 million is what they expect it to go to. So that's about a $3.5–4 million drop in revenue over the course of those things. So we do need to prepare for that, which is why we're trying to posture ourselves in that respect, so that when that does happen, we have time to adjust. That's the biggest reason. So the expense line notables at this time increases. Purchase property about 2.67 million. That's for a school consolidation costs. I tried to budget as much as possible in those areas, just for what might happen when we have to create bathrooms for smaller kids, adjusting, sealing off areas of the building, what it's going to cost to move people, rebranding, all those sorts of items. Supplies went about 651,000, and transportation went up about 242,000. And I will touch on that a little bit later on one of the other items that we have in here, not in that are agenda items. And contingency is increased by about 1.35 million. One thing that was kept from the tentative budget. I still have the roof repair for the schools for each school for $2 million for the high school and for South Middle. In fact, they did come by last week. They did look at those buildings. They're hoping to do it with a seal coat. But they do still have to do a test of those roofs to see if there's been any moisture penetration. Again, if there's been moisture penetration, it's a complete tear off. That's $2 million per building. I also kept about $666,533 in there for vehicles. I'm not certain if ESSER will play into being able to use some of that or not. So that's what I'm trying to see if I can offset some of those expenses. Decreases, salaries and benefits due to staffing decreases. And then also projected out from what our current expenses were monthly, so we were able to pull back that a little bit to get a little bit closer to budget to actual. So, and then shifts were made from the general fund to grant funds in all items that were possible. So, general fund expenditures, instructions at $29.2 million, student support service about $1.6 million, instructional staff support service about $1.3, district admin support is about $2.2, school admin support $2.92, business support service about $1.32 million, plan operations about $12 million. And that, again, in that $12 million in plan operations includes the repairs for the roofs and those sorts of things. So student transportation about $4.9 million, food service operation, now bear in mind this is general fund, so food service it's only at $36,500 roughly, but that's just what the general fund kicks in for food service, so that's not the full scope of that. Community service about $347,000, building improvements is $35,000. Again, most of that is place and plants operation and maintenance, and fund transfers of $150,507, and that's to help for bond payments, and contingencies about $4.8 million. Are there any questions?
14.8, is that what you were?
For
The contingency?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any questions on the working budget? If there's no questions regarding the working budget, I'll need a motion to approve. I have a motion by Mr. Johar.
Second.
Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of considering the 23-24 working budget, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And we'll move down now to item E, and that is to approve finding from long-term planning committee meetings.
Thank you, Sharon. This may seem like deja vu for you all, since we did approve a finding in order to convene the long-term planning committee, which then had a finding, not that you have to approve. So this is unfortunate. So this is the next step in the DFP revision process. So I did clarify with Scott Knoll to make sure that this really was, I asked him, I said, I thought we already did this step. He said, no, you have to do a finding in order to convene them. Then once they get together, the committee says, yes, there's a finding that we want to go on and revise the long-term facility plan. So then they had a finding, and so now we need to have you all approve that finding. So, which was the same thing that we discussed in the previous finding.
I'll make a motion to approve the finding. No, I'm kidding, but approve
Of the finding.
the finding of the finding, if it's found.
I second the motion.
Second. I have a second by Ms. Bard. All in favor of the finding, please say aye. Aye.
This is an illustration of the efficiency of government.
Yeah.
All opposed, I hear none. All right, now we'll move down to item F, to approve construction of the NFC fitness court.
I have brought him here this evening. I will ask him to come up in just a moment. One of our teachers, John Lovell, has applied for a grant for the NFC fitness court. A grant was given by Felix Martin. Let me step back. I'm sorry. The NFC fitness court, they have a grant which is $30,000. Then we applied for a grant from the Martin Foundation, which we gave $25,000. The total cost of this is $212,000. We'd like to use ESSER funds, and the reason why to make the $157,000, ESSER funds need to be spent by November. Salaries are not going to make up that amount. I did talk to some colleagues of mine just as of this afternoon to make sure, but I'd like to try to purchase buses. However, I don't know if the liquidation, it has to be liquidated, so we have to receive the bus, so that it may or may not work in that respect. So I'm trying to get it to where we're expending these funds in the quickest time possible. I can't use them on construction because of Davis-Bacon wages, which, like we discussed almost a year ago, I guess a year and a half ago, about using ESSER funds to work on the cafeteria, which would have increased the cost of the cafeteria $700,000, if you recall. So that's where we shifted everyone we possibly could onto that ESSER grant, and then it's chipping away, but not near as fast. So we feel like this would be a good use of these funds. It will be expended prior to the time frame that we need to have them done. And
so it can't be used for construction? ESSER funds?
ESSER funds can be used for construction, but then it pulls in Davis-Bacon wages. So the assembly, Davis-Bacon wages means you have to pay a prevailing wage, which is set by the government. So when we proposed that to A&K Construction, we said, okay, we'd like to use ESSER funds. What is that going to increase the cost? The cost went up $700,000 in order to pay the prevailing wages for that construction project. So we did not use them for construction projects. This one, the assembly, it increased the cost by $2,000 instead of, so using that for this sort of construction. It's a smaller cost construction item, so it's smarter to use it for that. If you have any questions, John is here regarding the court or what this is.
I was just wondering because of the baseball field, if that can be finished with this money, or can we?
I can't use it for that because again, that pulls into that whole.
Let me ask you this: I know we had a bid for a larger bid that we rejected for the baseball field.
Oh yes, significantly larger.
Is there no way we can get another bid from somebody else?
For what?
For the dugout, for the same job?
We're in the middle of the project. You can do that, but they're trying to get someone to come in after the fact. And also in order to use that, I still have to consider everything else it's going to be. If I get another bid and we use those, I still have to go through to get the bid process. I have to advertise it for a month, then get the bids in, award the bid. So I'm already at pushing that November deadline anyway to expend those funds.
Timing.
Can you describe more what the fitness court is, or?
The fitness court, it's a great opportunity for our school system and our community to come together to develop a culture of wellness. It's basically 7 stations, and it's tied in with an app where you could get a full body workout in as minimum as 7 minutes. Of course, people would do it longer, but each station lasts a minute. There's pull-ups, push-ups, box jumps. It's body weight stuff. And I'm also working on other grants as well at this time. And going through these grants, one of the things with the Owensboro Health, reviewed the health needs assessment in Muhlenberg County, and of the 5 major concerns, 3 of them would be addressed by the fitness court. The obesity, overweight rate, mental health, and just, as I said earlier, developing a culture of wellness and responsibility. We would be the first school system to implement this. Now, there are others in the state of Kentucky. In fact, I found out yesterday, McLean County just completed this same project. And they went through the fiscal court, so I'd like to talk to Max sometime after I found that out as well. But can I answer any other questions?
So where will it be located at?
It'll be located, when I actually started this process, I applied for North Middle, but it's recommended for ages 15 and above. So I've talked to Mr. Carver and Ms. Orr about moving this to the high school, and it would be located in between the high school campus and the Ray Jones complex, because we do want to make this available for the community, not just the school system. So it'd be easy accessible from the walking trail that goes around Ray Jones.
Thank you.
And we are working to apply for the Owensboro Health Grant, correct?
It's more of a lengthy process, and as we're talking about the deadlines, everybody's on a different deadline. With Owensboro Health, I made it through one stage. I did an interview yesterday, made it through another. It's a 3 or 4 step process.
You'll get it done. You'll get it done.
So those grants would offset?
Yes.
The $150,000 would be the max that we could put in, and that would offset it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any questions?
Nope.
All right. Thank you. Then I would need a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Have a motion by Ms. Bard. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of approving the construction of the NFC Fitness Court, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hear none. And then we'll move down now to item G. Consider first reading of revised policy 08.113. Ms. Orr.
So this goes right along with the work that our learner-centered design team, the committee, has been working on with our profile of a learner competencies. The committee met and did some additional work, and we're at the point of changing our graduation requirements to add in the defense of learning presentation. So what that's going to look like is, and actually we're looking at grades 5, 8, and 12, of the student just defending their learning in the areas of our profile competency. So how did I work on being an engaged citizen? How did I collaborate more effectively? And being able to identify that and speak it, and then also what are some next steps? What are some goals for me? So that's the change in the graduation requirements to add that defensive learning presentation.
Any questions? I need a motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Johar. Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of considering the first reading of the revised policy 08.113, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And we are down now to our board consent agenda items, and that is to approve the minutes of the prior board meeting, approve shortened school day for students, approve Muhlenberg County School start and end times, consider facilities use, consider fundraising requests, and field trip requests. You all have had a chance to review this in your packets. Are there any questions? If not, I make a motion to approve the board consent agenda items. Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of approving the board consent agenda items, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none, and we are down now to adjourning. Need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Bowers. No, second. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. All opposed?